And hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are back inside of our survival world, and I guess I actually probably shouldn't have started here, but real quick. So I started to record this episode, I did a bit of stuff, and then I kind of noticed that I hadn't turned the mic on. So it's a little bit embarrassing. So I didn't do much, but if you'll notice, there's a creeper face there now. That's all I've done, but yeah, so that little bit of work I did, spent like, a little bit of time on it. It was like 5 minutes of it would have only been the start of the video, but still, it was disappointing I didn't have my mic on. So yeah, that's there now. I'm not totally sure about the terraforming into the mountain, whether or not I'll mess around with it more. I'm considering it. I think if I bring that bit up to maybe there, and then bring another bit of it up a little bit, just kind of layer it a bit more, it might look a little bit better, and maybe bring out the sides here a little more. But a little bit of thinking there, not fully sure what I'm gonna do with that, but that's just some thoughts. Anyway, on to what we're actually gonna be doing today. So I wanted to do something that wasn't purely for the sake of building and was actually something kind of useful. So I did some thinking about what we're gonna do, and I want to set up a strip for the oak wood over here. So what I'm thinking is, so we're going to have, do I have oak saplings anywhere? Here we go. We're gonna have some rows going down, and I'm gonna add enough space out so that there'll be 2 blocks on either side for digging the leaves. Well, actually, these are gonna need to be up a block. It's gonna be up a block, so in that way, if it grows one high like how this tree is, you can come up to the side. I don't think that's ever going to be really necessary, but just kind of that way it doesn't ever block the movement, and you can still move down. And then we can have a couple blocks between, and then another row starts just like this. And I'm not sure what I want to do for the flooring in between. I'm not going to leave it grass, I'm sure of that. Just because I'm doing a more practical build doesn't mean I don't want it to look nice. I want to do a good job with my builds, but we'll probably do like 3 rows or something, 4 blocks in between, and then some sort of, we'll have a row of blocks over the top to prevent it from growing over, because the last thing I want is for it to grow over for this stuff. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna figure out what block we're gonna use for the bottom and start on a couple rows, and once I kind of have something going, a kind of concept, then I'll come back to you guys. Alright, so very much so a work in progress, but here's what I've got going so far. So I'm doing this iron and oak spaced flooring. I'm not 100% sold on it. I did a test with it in a creative world real quick just to see what it looked like with all the trees grown, and it looks far better once the trees are actually grown in. I'm gonna need glowstone for the ceiling. I just figure since it's gonna be a floating block, glowstone just kind of works the best. This should be the correct gap for it to all grow and grow at the minimum height, so that it's not like getting in the way of anything. I wanted to go for quite a while back here. I built this one out to around the distance I'm thinking, so you can see that that's pretty far out that's headed. So, and I'm thinking 3 rows. We're gonna need 4 on both of the middle paths, and then 2 on the side. Now this won't give nearly enough saplings back just based off the saplings falling. So in exchange for the ease of being able to cut it down easily, I'll have to cut the leaves with the fortune hoe to make sure that we get enough back to even it all out. The iron for this isn't a problem, neither is the wood. It's just a matter of I'm probably gonna have to make a run to the iron farm at some point here soon, which is slightly obnoxious. I'm also not sure I want to do this rim around the edge here. I was thinking of just doing stairs all the way along, but that's not going to work down there, and I don't really want to make it oak themed, so I might almost take like a concrete or something, or maybe stone bricks might not be bad. Let's grab some stone bricks and see how that looks really fast. I'm not sure how well it'll work out, but I figure that'll at least be worth a shot for the rim here, because I'm really not feeling the stairs on the side. I just don't feel like they work, and I'm left some of the ground there not filled in. That's a whoops on my part. Most of the time I fill this stuff in, but just occasionally I'm just like, it's not gonna be a problem. There's not any situation where this would be out, and then there's a situation where it's out. That sort of stuff always comes back to haunt me. Let's see here. I apparently need more torches in the area since mobs are spawning. It's been a while since I've been in an area in my world where mobs will spawn. I'll throw some torches down shortly. I think this works. I do think I might want to bring it all the way around, though, which means I'm going to have to take an extra block on each side to have the stone brick rim, which is fine. I don't think that's too much of a problem. Let me just fill in at least this bit here with the wood. Another note, none of the dirt's gonna have grass on it, so that's also has to be taken into consideration. Oh, the stone brick works for sure. I just don't know how I like the logs mixed in with the iron. I almost feel like there's another block that would work better mixed in with it, which I might look at. But for the most part, I think this is, at least for the moment, what I'm looking at. We'll see as some of the building goes along whether or not these grow. If they don't grow, then I'm going to have to start figuring out what I did wrong with the spacing for that. But for the moment, I just want to get the stuff going a little bit further. I don't really want to go grab glowstone or anything right now. So I'm thinking I'll probably just use up the materials I have. I'll get iron, but I'll use up some of the materials that I have, and I'll try and bring this a bit further, and I'll come back when, you know, we've taken it about as far as we'll probably take it this episode. Alright, so I'm going to be honest, I still haven't made the run for iron. I kind of got a little bit sidetracked, but I now have the entire thing with the oak logs laid out. I actually real quick need to just craft some bricks. And now I have the entire perimeter finished as well. So the only two things left to do is to come through with iron blocks and then with trapdoors. And actually I guess 4 things left to do, because then I also need to layer the glowstone across it all, followed by planting all the saplings. Now, this ended up being 3 layers, which I believe I originally said I intended to do 4. I'm going to be honest, that was a total accident if I did originally intend to do 4. Yeah, I think I might have said I was going to do 4. I don't remember for sure. Maybe I said I was going to do 3. But yeah, so a little bit of progress here. I like that it now adds something as you come along here to the right. And I'm going to clip some of these trees along here as well. I have a lot of tree cutting to do. Luckily, all of the trees in the area that I already cut down gave me enough wood to fill out all of the oak log portions. So, still got the iron, still got the glowstone, still got some more stuff. But, for the moment, I'm going to call it with what I've done for this. I have a lot of stuff I need to sort out. My inventory is a mess and a half. I'm going to just drop this stuff in here so that I can fit these 2 shulker boxes in my inventory to bring with me to the over here. Yeah, for the foreseeable future, I'm going to need to be figuring out my inventory. Once again, I don't think it's something I'm going to worry about right away, but it is definitely something I need to get done at some point. I'm going to just drop enough stuff off that I have the inventory space. And then let's take this bit of glowstone we have, and then we can come back here. And I just want to bring this glowstone out as far as I can. Because I want the trees to start growing, just because I feel like if I do end up getting sidetracked for the next couple episodes and don't get this done immediately, which is definitely possible. I don't think it's likely, but if it does happen, then I don't want this area to be super bad. So I figure if there's at least a tree line, it helps a little bit. Oh, there are a lot of phantoms. It's also been raining for like all of eternity, because that's how my world is now. It just always rains. It always rains, and I miss like 2 nights of sleep, and there's max phantoms. I don't know. I think Mojang's trying to tell me I've been on this world for too long. But regardless, yeah, I think this will fit in just nicely. I need to get rid of this log. I believe that should be it. The other thing, I do want to store a chest, which I need to get out of here because of all the phantoms at some point, but I do want to throw a chest down in the corner here for saplings. I just figure having somewhere to store them is probably the best bet in the area. But yeah, let's get out of here because I am sick of these phantoms. And then the only other thing is, I did want to talk about this a little bit because I was noticing this while I was going around, so kind of a talking topic from here. So oh, it's apparently morning, and it's still raining, which means that's obnoxious. But let's see here. We need to go get the iron. I've noticed as I've been going about my world, I honestly am more fond of the old generation than I thought I was. Like, I was very on board for the generation change, and don't get me wrong, I still like it. But I know at some point I've said this. I don't remember if it was on camera or off camera, but I mentioned that I kind of wish what they had done was to leave the overworld generation fairly intact and just rework the caves. There goes my phone. Because I feel like the new generation, this is at least my experience from the couple worlds that I've played fairly far on the new generation. Now, granted, I've played a lot more on the older generation since the update than newer generation, just because I play on my survival world all the time. I have another shulker box out here? I had no idea I had a shulker box out here. Right, because I was doing, I had redstone stuff for the, man, I've totally forgotten about this stuff. Anyway, yeah, I haven't really liked the newer generation. I find that it's, how do I put it? Like, I don't know what a great way to describe how I feel about it is, but it's just too over the top. I think there's too much of a degree of, it's hard to get any realistic building done without heavy terraforming, which I dislike. Like, I dislike that you have to do heavy terraforming. Some degree of terraforming is nice, but I just think there's too much of it that has to be done just to do even basic builds, which is a problem. And beyond that, it's also really hard to traverse, is the other thing I've noticed. So, like, between those two things, I feel like the new generation makes Minecraft feel a bit more like a chore for two of the main things that have made it so great, which is exploration and building. Now, when the new generation got released, and I was still really excited for it, I figured that the degree of exploration that the update would add would make up for the fact that it would be harder to... Oh, skeleton, could you not? The extra exploration would make up for both the fact that it would be harder to move and harder to build, and also that the cool scenery would add enough to the buildings that it wouldn't cause a problem. However, I think one of the things I've noticed, especially recently with how I build, is I like to very thoroughly be able to completely transform the area how I want it. And I've noticed it even in stuff where, in worlds that I spend far less time in whenever I do a survival world on my own, not for videos or whenever I'm on like a server or whatnot. I don't like to build focusing just on a house or something like that and calling it good. Like, build a really nice house in a nice area and call it good. I like to completely transform the area. Build bridges, build, you know, whatever else. Paths, pathways, light everything up. I mean, that tendency's been pretty obvious just from the fact that I like to light everything up in my world. I don't like any dark spots in my area. I like everything near where I'm building to be completely bright. So, like the tendency's already pretty obvious there just from that. But I've very much so taken it further as I get a little bit better at building, which don't get me wrong, I'm still not great at building. I'm far better than I used to be, but I have a long way to go when it comes to learning how to build. I did not have enough iron. I missed a log here. So I just feel like the new system doesn't work well with my building style from that standpoint. And even if you just want to build a house per se, the amount of terraforming you have to do for something that used to just be like, hey, pick out an area and you can kind of start building your house without much concern, is now a matter of, hey, pick out an area and then do some serious terraforming and then you're ready to start building your house. It's far more of a process than it used to be. I'm not saying it's all bad things with the new generation. I do not have enough iron. But I just think that there's some downsides to it that, in my opinion, outweigh the upsides enough that I don't really enjoy the new generation. And it's really weird because I thought I would. But even, like, you know, when I had the plan to go out and build on the new generation in a new area on this world, I just can't bring myself to do it because I just don't really like the new generation. And I thought it was something I was gonna love and all of that stuff, but I just don't. And I also don't really like that when it comes to diamonds, they're now like so easy to get, I guess. I don't think they're too easy to get, but they're still far easier than they used to be. And I get that netherite kind of adds another in-game element, but I still feel like when it comes to armor and stuff, once you have full diamond enchanted, there's not really much further to go from there. So, like, I don't know. It just, I haven't really cared for the new generation. And that's why I'm still, you know, in the same area and have no interest in going out to somewhere with the newer generational stuff. And maybe that'll change. Maybe it'll grow on me if I'm end up playing more worlds on it without just skipping out and coming back to here. Maybe part of my problem just is that I enjoy building in one small area so much that I find it too hard to let myself truly enjoy a newer world when I need to, you know, kind of let myself go whenever I'm building on a world that's not this one. I don't know. Whatever it is, that's my spiel on the new generation. I get that that was pretty long and really drug out the video, but let me know what you guys think. If you guys like spiels like that, I can kind of bring it back, because I know that was a large part of what old survival videos were. And I also haven't done many parkour videos recently, even before I took the long break. I know that that was kind of tapering off with the amount of parkour videos I've done. I do want to bring that back. And I do have a map downloaded to play. I just haven't gotten around to actually recording and playing it yet. But if you guys would like to see more of these segments where I just kind of spiel while working on the build, we can draw out the survival videos to maybe more like 20-30 minutes in length, and I can do more of this. Or I can continue going with the other style of kind of mostly recapping what I do and, you know, kind of bringing you guys along what my thoughts for the basic build, but not doing much of the actual building on camera. There's just a floating dirt block there. Up to you guys. I'm not really super partial either way. I really enjoy both of them. I think the actual recording segment's a little more fun if I let myself go and talk more. But I also enjoy just building while listening to music, so I'm perfectly fine with either. But yeah, so last things, just looking over the building. I'm not gonna lie, even with iron a little bit gone, let me just flap to get more of an area feel. I think that works really well. I think the checkered pattern works all right from up above. Obviously, with the tree line obscuring it, I think it looks a lot better. But I like it. I think it gives more accent to this area. I want to cut back the hill probably to something like here. Something like this, probably. And we'll bring this over here. I might have this be a sheer drop off here too. Kind of bring it like this and leave it where it's dropping off like 4 blocks there. And then just replace this with dirt. I know I was saying this like it was something I was going to do in the future, but I don't know. I just want to quickly get this done. That haste beacon's messing me up. I keep trying to dig like there's no haste. I'm not digging like it's butter. But we can bring this here. I'm going to need to sleep because phantoms are going to murder me. But I want to wrap up the video first. Let's just get this wrapped up. All good to go here. I don't feel like it cuts too far into this, which is nice. Because my concern would be that it would cut too far in and kind of ruin the mouth of the river. But I think that works really well. It adds a bit more life to this area, which is perfect because that's exactly what I needed to happen in this area. It's not pretty, but it's alright. It's kind of borderline as a build for me so far on whether it really belonged over here or works better over there. I know I've said this like 10 times already, but wait for the tree line to grow. It'll be a bit different then. I have to bring the glowstone over and get a bit more iron. So I think I'll probably AFK just overnight at the iron golem farm to pick up a bunch more iron. But I have rambled for far too long. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. And I will see you all in the next one. God bless. Bye-bye.